Valmiki Ramayana, Aranya Kanda, Book number 3, Sarga 29, Roman numerals, XXIX, 29, KHARA'S defeat. When Rama saw the giant nigh, on foot alone, with mace reared high, in mild reproof at first he spoke, then forth his threatening anger broke. Thou, with the host 'twas thine to lead, with elephant and car and steed, hast wrought an act of sin and shame, an act which all who live must blame. Know that the wretch whose evil mind, through the grief of humankind, through the three worlds confess him Lord, must perish dreaded and abhorred. Night rower, when a villain's deeds distress the world, he little heeds. Each hand is armed his life to take, and crush him like a deadly snake. The end is near when men begin, through greed or lust, a life of sin. And as a Brahman's dame unwise eats of the fallen hail and dies. Thy hand has slain the pure and good, the hermit saints of Dandak wood, of holy life, the heirs of bliss, and thou shalt reap the fruit of this. Not long shall not long shall they whose cruel breasts joy in the sin the world detests, retain their guilty power and pride, but fade like trees whose roots are dried. Yes, as the seasons come and go, each tree its kindly fruit must show, and sinners reap in fitting time the harvest of each earlier crime. As those must surely die who eat unwittingly of poisoned meat. They too whose lives in sin are spent receive ere long the punishment. And know, thou rower of the night, that I a king am sent to smite the wicked down who court the hate of men whose laws they violate. This day my vengeful hand shall send shafts bright with gold to tear and rend, and pass with fury through thy breast, as serpents pierce an emmet's nest. Thou with thy host this day shalt be among the dead below, and see the saints beneath thy hand who bled, whose flesh thy cruel maw has fed. The glorious on their seats of gold their slayers shall in hell behold. Fight with all the strength thou callest thine, mean scion of ignoble line. Still like the palm tree's fruit this day, my shafts thy head in dust shall lay. Such were the words that Rama said. Then Kara's eyes with wrath glowed red, who, maddened by the rage that burned within him, with a smile returned. Thou Dasharatha's son hast slain the meaner giants of my train, and canst thou idly vaunt thy might, and claim the praise not thine by right. Not thus in self-laudation rave, the truly great, the nobly brave. No empty boasts like thine disgrace, the foremost of the human race. The mean soul, the mean of soul unknown to fame, who taint their warrior race with shame. Thus speak in senseless pride as thou, O Raghu's son, hast boasted now. What hero, when the war dry rings, wants the high race from which he springs, or seeks, when warriors meet and die, his own descent to glorify? Weakness and folly show confessed, in every want thou art rest. As when the flames, fed high with grass, detect the simulating brass. Dost thou note to see me standing here, armed with the mighty mace I rear, firm as an earth upholding hill, whose summit veins of metal fill? Lo, here I stand before thy face, to slay thee with my murderous mace. As death, the universal Lord, stands threatening with his fatal cord. Enough of this, much more remains, that should be said, but time constrains. Ere to his rest the sun descended, and shades of night the combat end. Ere to his rest the sun descend, and shades of night the combat end. The twice 7,000 of my band, who fell beneath thy bloody hand, shall have their tears all wiped away, and triumph in thy fall today. He spoke, and loosing from his hold his mighty mace ringed round with gold, like some red bolt alive with fire, hurled it at Rama, mad with ire. The ponderous mace which Kara threw sent fiery flashes as it flew. Trees, shrubs were scorched beneath the blast, as onward to its aim it passed. But Rama, watching as it sped, dire as his news who rules the dead, cleft it with arrows as it came, on rushing with a hiss and flame. Its fury spent, and burnt away, harmless upon the ground it lay, like a great snake in furious mood, by herbs of numbing power subdued. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Footnotes. 262. One popularly supposed to cause death. Wow, absolutely, absolutely beautiful. You see, this is a really nice description of drug addicts, of all this hippie type of constantly talking about all kinds of different drugs. I guess Terence McKenna and all these different herbs in Amazon to get some DMT experiences or whatever they call it, whatever stupid names. So they're pretty much these people like they're like snakes, like poisonous snakes who like drugs, who like gets high on drugs, and we all know, according to this passage right here from Ramayana, that the only way to calm down a furious snake is to give them some herbs, is to give them some drugs so they can calm down. So all these people who are constantly talking about taking drugs and experimenting with different drugs, what is it called? Ayahuasca, some plant from Amazon. So this is, we have it for those who are like snakes that need drugs. Beautiful description of the fight between Kara and Rama. Kara threw his massive mace at Rama, and Rama cleft it in half with his arrows and lay harmless upon the ground, cleft it with arrows as it came. That thing scorched trees and earth with the blast of a throw. We cannot even imagine what kind of weaponry is that. It's beyond us, our Stone Age weaponry, AK-47s and AR-15s. These are all Stone Age technology in comparison with kind of power and technology people had long time ago. Demons like Kara, they all understand this is the only way to achieve this kind of celestial weapons and powers is through practice of yoga, meditation, austerities for thousands of years, if not lifetimes, to achieve this kind of powers. And it's only achieved through the virtue practicing. And people who are practicing wise, who are eating cows, have completely deteriorated their good karma. And in the association of the modes of nature, they start eating cows, and the next life is nothing but an animal life to be raised for slaughter. That's all good benefits, so-called good benefits the human civilization has. In other words, it's a meat grinder. In other words, all the people have lost their virtues and they're going straight to karma, to be born as animals, raised for slaughter. Just like they're slaughtering animals today and feeding themselves in the globally satanic Burger King industry. Human beings, so-called human beings who eat cows and other animals, they have to be born as an animal farm on a farm to be raised for slaughter. That's the law of karma. That's the law of karma. And no dead Jew on a Roman cross will save you. Absolutely beautiful. Jai Shri Ramayana. Jai Shri Ram, Hail Ram, Roma Victor, victory to Rama, eternal Rome, eternal Ramayana. Ciao.